Green Bay was incredibly busy this offseason, making significant roster moves, but the question remains, are they done yet? As the Packers gear up for the new season, the landscape of their roster is still shifting, leaving fans wondering what's next. The organization cut ties with Nate Hobbs and Elgton Jenkins, traded away Rashawn Gary and Dontavian Wicks, and let several other players depart in free agency. Meanwhile, they extended or re-signed key contributors like Jaden Reed, Josh Rhyan, Chris Brooks, and Brennan Cox. But despite all this activity, the Packers front office still has crucial decisions to make over the next few months, particularly regarding potential contract extensions for a handful of standout players. So, let's dive into 4 players who could realistically see new deals before the regular season kicks off. First up is the promising tight end, Kraft. With a contract set to expire, Kraft finds himself in a pivotal spot. He's currently the only tight end on the roster under contract beyond 2026. And with the ACL injury he suffered complicating negotiations, it's imperative for the Packers to get him signed to an extension before his value skyrockets. Right now, he's only counting about $3.9 million against the cap, thanks to the proven performance escalator. This relatively cheap cap hit could allow Green Bay to lessen the impact of a long-term deal down the line. The stakes are high, and locking him in could pay dividends for the offense. Next, we turn to Wyatt, whose situation presents a more complicated scenario. Entering the league as an older prospect, he's already 28 and has yet to establish himself as a full-time player. Injuries have hampered his progress, and while he has shown flashes of potential, there are significant concerns, particularly with his run defense. Still, a contract extension makes sense. The Packers lack depth on the defensive line, and Wyatt is currently under a 5th-year option that will hit the cap hard in 2026 with a staggering $12.9 million. A new deal could alleviate some of that pressure, ideally in the form of a midterm extension that balances both the team's needs and Wyatt's evolving role. Then there's Watson, who signed a 1-year, $11 million extension last September as he worked his way back from an ACL injury. He performed admirably and is now approaching another contract year. His efficient play, especially in an exploding receiver market, complicates matters. While he might not command the astronomical figures seen in contracts like Alec Pierce's recent 4-year, $114 million deal with the Colts, Watson's performance on the field speaks volumes about his value to the offense. He's a game changer, and the Packers' offense thrives when he's in the lineup. However, with Jaden Reed recently extended, the financial dynamics are shifting, and the team will have to weigh the costs carefully. Finally, let's talk about McKinney. The Packers typically hesitate to extend non-quarterbacks with multiple years left on their contracts, but McKinney may just be the exception to that rule. After adjusting his contract to create space, his cap hit is set to balloon from $9.86 million in 2026 to a staggering $24.8 million in 2027. At just 26, soon to be 27, and with 2 All-Pro seasons under his belt, McKinney represents a rare opportunity for Green Bay to solidify their secondary without breaking the bank. The safety market is manageable for teams right now, making a new extension a feasible move that could maintain stability in the defensive backfield. As we can see, the Packers are at a crossroads with several key players, and the decisions made in the coming months could significantly impact the trajectory of the franchise. Now, let's shift gears and discuss the latest buzz surrounding the team's prospect for the upcoming draft and potential trades that could shake things up even further. The Green Bay Packers are poised for a pivotal offseason, with critical questions looming as they prepare for the 2026 season. As the organized team activities, OTAs, commence this week, fans across the nation are buzzing with anticipation. I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? What are your thoughts on the Packers' offseason moves? Leave your comments below. This week marks the beginning of Phase 3 of the Packers' offseason program. And while there won't be any live contact just yet, the coaching staff is set to engage in essential 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills. With practices scheduled for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, these sessions are going to be crucial for addressing the uncertainties that could ripple through training camp and the preseason. One of the most intriguing developments is the contract situation surrounding center Josh Rhyan. The Packers offered him a 3-year extension worth $33 million, but it's essentially a 1-year deal with 2 team options. Rhyan, a former third-round pick, has everything to prove this offseason. He finds himself in a competitive environment, especially after the front office made a significant investment by drafting center Jager Burton in the 5th round. Rhyan is currently the starting center, but with Burton's potential, the Packers are setting the stage for a true competition. If Burton manages to secure the starting role, Rhyan could transition to a valuable swing interior offensive lineman, enhancing the team's depth and flexibility. This battle for the center position may not get the spotlight it deserves, but it is arguably one of the most impactful competitions of the offseason. With Micah Parsons expected to miss the first few games, possibly the entire month, the edge defender position opposite Lucas Van Ness is up for grabs. Last year, both Ladarius Cox and rookie J.J. Sorrell had limited opportunities due to injuries, with Cox participating in only 7% of defensive snaps. Now, with the absence of Rashawn Gary and Kingsley Enagbare, these numbers are set to rise significantly. The Packers need to determine who can step up and deliver consistent performance in what could be a critical role come regular season. Turning our attention to the interior defensive line, the duo of Devontae Wyatt and Javon Hargrave is set to consume over $20 million in cap hit for 2026, reinforcing their status as the starters. However, the depth behind them is crucial. Players like Warren Brinson, Jonathan Ford, and Nazir Stackhouse will compete, but keep an eye on Carl Brooks and third-round draft pick Chris McClellan. Brooks has shown himself to be a formidable interior rusher, while McClellan brings an all-around skill set that could make him a valuable asset. The speed at which he adapts to Jonathan Gannon's defensive scheme could significantly impact his playing time. In the secondary, Keyshawn Nixon is expected to retain his spot as the top cornerback, with Javon Bullard likely starting in the slot. However, the other boundary corner position is wide open. Carrington Valentine had a shaky performance last season, particularly with his tackling, which prompted the Packers to make moves in free agency. They added Benjamin St. Just and drafted Brandon Cisse in the 2nd round, creating a crowded competition for this crucial position. It's worth noting that starting cornerbacks typically see nearly 100% of defensive snaps, making this battle even more significant. Meanwhile, the running back situation has also evolved. With Emmanuel Wilson out of the picture, Brooks is theoretically positioned as the RB2 after signing a 2-year extension. Yet, if Lloyd can remain healthy, a big if considering his history, he'll provide stiff competition for snaps behind Josh Jacobs. Brooks is a reliable runner and excels in pass protection, but Lloyd, when at his best, possesses a level of explosiveness that could elevate the running game. As we navigate through the offseason, these battles and developments will shape the Packers' roster and strategy for the upcoming season. Each practice during OTAs will be a stepping stone toward clarifying these questions. Let's keep the conversation going. What do you think about the Packers' offseason progress and these key competitions? Now, let's move on to our next segment, where we'll delve into more critical updates. As the Green Bay Packers convene for OTAs this week, the anticipation for the upcoming season is palpable. With just over 3 months until the regular season kicks off, this gathering is far from just a formality. It's a critical juncture for the team as they lay the groundwork for 2026. Fans, where are you watching from? We want to hear your thoughts on what's happening with our beloved Packers. This offseason has already been a whirlwind, especially considering the Packers' draft strategy. With only 6 picks in hand, General Manager Brian Gutekunst has taken a bold approach by signing nearly double that number of undrafted free agents. This isn't just a numbers game. It's a strategic move to address glaring needs on the roster. Among these UDFAs, cornerback Marlon Jones Jr. stands out. His journey back from cancer is nothing short of inspirational, and he's now vying for a spot in the NFL. Also in the mix is quarterback Kieran Drones, who could provide some exciting competition. Then there's wide receiver Jay, Michael Sturdivant, and running back Jaden Nixon. Both have the potential to carve out a space on the practice squad or even the main roster. The offensive line is another area of concern, and guards Josh Gesky and Dylan Wade have a chance to make a significant impression, especially given the lack of depth at their position. Now, let's address an area that has kept many fans awake at night, the cornerback position. The Packers are still searching for a top cover corner, and the uncertainty of who will start at that critical role adds a layer of intrigue to OTAs. This week will give us our first look at free agent acquisition Benjamin St. Just, along with draft picks Brandon Cisse and Domani Jackson. Carrington Valentine finds himself in a precarious position. His job security seems to be hanging by a thread this offseason, making his performance something to watch closely. In addition to the cornerbacks, the pass rush is another vital focus. With Micah Parsons expected to miss the early weeks of the season, the Packers will need to identify a starter opposite Lucas Van Ness, a former first-round pick who needs to prove he's ready to make a significant impact. The performances of second-year players like Barron Sorrell and Colin Oliver will be scrutinized, as will Brenton Cox's ability to stay healthy and make a mark. OTAs have historically been a platform for rookies to shine, and the Packers are hoping this year will be no different. Early standout performances can be indicators of a promising rookie season. We'll be keeping a close eye on second-round pick Cisse and third-round selection Chris McClellan, both of whom have the potential to break into the rotation and contribute meaningfully. However, it's not just the rookies who will be under the microscope. The Packers have several key players working their way back from injuries. Tucker Kraft, Devontae Wyatt, Parsons, and Zach Tom may be limited to side workouts, but their progress is essential for the team's overall prospects. While we may only catch a preliminary glimpse of their recovery, these players are pivotal to the Packers' chances in the upcoming season. As the Packers engage in OTAs, these developments will shape the narrative of the franchise heading into 2026. The stakes are high, and every rep, every play, and every practice session matters in determining who will wear the green and gold this fall. Fans, your insights are invaluable. What do you think about the players mentioned, and who are you most excited to see? Don't forget to leave your comments below and subscribe for more updates on all things Packers. Each day brings new developments, and we're here to keep you in the loop.